Welcome to the GTI Tours Podcast. Join us as we go behind the scenes and discuss with trip leaders, guides, biblical scholars, and more to bring the land and the lessons of the Bible to life. Hello and welcome to the GTI Tours Podcast. My name is Rich and I'm going to be your host today as we dive into the land and the lessons of the Bible, like we always do, and get a chance to connect with our friends over in Israel. I probably get more email, more requests, more questions on how are our friends doing in Israel? How are the guides and drivers who you guys have gotten to know and who you love? How are they doing? And I think that this is a great question because one, we love all these people, but two, I think it's really hard to understand the reality of what's going on over in the Middle East from just watching the news, especially like lately. You get a ton of information and then all of a sudden you get very little. So I thought this would be great. Let's check in with the one, the only, the Ronan ben Moshe, one of our favorite people. And we're going to have a discussion on many things. Some of those being food, some of those being falafel. So just you be ready as we get ready to talk on that. But Ronan, welcome back to the podcast.
Hey, Shalom. It looks like you missed me already.
I always miss you. You see, people don't get what you and I get. I get to talk to you often. Like we chat a lot, and that's one of my favorite things. But our friends don't get that opportunity all the time. So we're going to have a little discussion now so they can hear how you're doing. So let's just start it off really quick. Last time we checked in, the whole Iran, Israel, U.S. war had started. And, typical you and me were like, let's give it a couple of days, because these things don't typically last very long. And here we are. It was a little over a month and a half since that point. How are you doing? What is it like living in Israel in the Jerusalem suburbs these days?
Well, I had expectations that we're going to have a war in the biblical terms. So on the first day, I said, let's do it in 3 days. And then after 3 days, I said, okay, let's finish that on 7 days. Okay, let's finish that on 12. No, let's do it on 40. But I think we exaggerate with the length of that war. We had enough. But frankly, is that there are ups and downs. I'm sure that it's not comfortable to go to the shelter like 6-7 times a day. So we have most of the Israelis have a bomb shelter at home. So for me, it's like walking in like 10 seconds. We close the door, wait 10 minutes, and then come back to our life. But the minute that you're not working or it's not easy to go to the supermarket or even to walk with the dog outside, that was not comfortable. But especially people that live in the north, because since Hezbollah started to take the places in the north of Israel as their target. So that's almost impossible to live there because it's all every few minutes and there's not even a warning before. We get about 5 minutes ahead of time so we can even, take a shower and leave and be ready to go to the shelter. But if you're on the border with Lebanon, some of you probably remember we've been to Dan or Caesarea Philippi on our tours. So over there, you have like 10 to 15 seconds. So it's not really enough in order to be ready to go to a bomb shelter. So over there, that's really difficult to live. Having said that, people still live here. I know it sounds strange, but we went to the movies and we went to a concert and we are going to a food market. And some people go to the beach and we travel. So the restaurants are still, many of them are fully booked. So it doesn't mean that we are we see too many movies and we feel that there's in a time of a war, everybody is fighting in the streets, but it doesn't go like that. So I can tell you that in general, in the last, say 45 days, maybe 10 days were very intensive that we had to go like 5 or 6 times to the shelter, but that's it. That's no more than this.
I share this with people all the time where they just go, Rich, how do you feel about a group being in Israel or a group being in Israel when something starts up? And I'll say this all the time. I'm not worried about their safety because I know that Israel has all the things that it needs to keep people safe, such as safe rooms, all these kind of things like that. So from that side of safety, that's not a problem. The problem is, as Ronan just said, there were multiple days during that time where you wouldn't be able to tour because you needed to be near a safe room. And so that was the reason why couldn't run trips at the time was like you would have got a really great tour of a few awesome shelters maybe, but that would have been about it. You wouldn't have gotten to see the sights. But as things have progressed to where they're at now, things are open, people are out, people are doing things, kids are back in school, all life goes on and touring could go on. And so it's just kind of like we're always waiting for that moment of when is it good to where we can run our entire tour the way we like to. And currently, correct me if I'm wrong, Ronan, like you could technically go do most everything we do except for the north would be the only issue.
Well, even now in the last few days, there's like a kind of a ceasefire. I don't like that word anymore, but there is a kind of a ceasefire in the north. So you can even go to the north, but I don't think that many people are really going. We still, there are some people that wants to go to support the people in the north. A group of us that we would like to go maybe next week just to do our shopping in a grocery store in the north. So at least someone will make some money over there just to show that we are there, presence. But that's the idea. But other than that, you can travel almost everywhere. I know it sounds strange, but when you go to, let's say, to the desert in Israel, rockets are not aimed towards the desert. So many people find places like the Dead Sea or Masada area, or even Mitzpe Ramon. So some of you remember that we did the wilderness of Zen. Nothing happened over there. So the hotels in that region are fully booked the whole time, mainly with Israelis.
Yeah.
But so there are places that you can really travel. So for about a week ago, we went 4 tour guides, myself, Ronen Chayat, Yehuda Ashkenazi, and Dan Mosek, and we did a tour in Jaffa. So you would say, wait a second, you were not afraid. So we had to think, where are we going? And by the way, if there's an alert and you need to go to a shelter, so you just walk in the street and ask people, where's the nearest shelter? And people just let you go into their houses or to their public shelters. So if it's a restaurant or if it's a theater, they all have shelters. So nothing happened, by the way. We just walked in the streets and everything was okay. But you have to plan and you have to be ready. But it's not for everyone and it's not the whole country. So that's not a good time to have a real regular tour of GTI. But we are people with hope. So we hope for that we'll do it in the future.
One of my other Israeli friends just made the joke of like when you need to find a shelter, this is how you meet new friends is that you meet friends with everybody you're with and everybody's accommodating and it's part of life. You know, I'm going to put a link into the show notes. I listened to a podcast a while ago that was put out by the Times of Israel that was one of the reporters doing an interview with like a 5-year-old kid talking about his time going in and out of the shelter. And it brought me to tears out of the fact that this little boy, his joy of life and his understanding of reality and the fact that he just makes the best out of it and he loves the friends he gets to see at the shelter. I mean, it was one of those ones where, again, like we don't live in a world that has to adapt such as you guys do. And I just found that again, like with the Jewish Israelis, with the people I know in Israel, it warmed my heart because that's exactly the feel of the people I know as well. And that this interview did. And so I'll put the link in the show notes for everybody.
If I can make 2 comments. One, there's a story about kids that they put PlayStation in the bomb shelter, the public bomb shelter of the building, of the apartment building. So when they played and then they had to go home and they felt like, oh, it's a bummer. We want to finish the game. And about an hour later, there was another alert and they were so joyful so they can go to the bomb shelter to continue the game. Only in Israel, something like that can happen. Another story that happened to me, I drove toward Jerusalem and in the middle, I had to stop because there was an alert. We entered the kibbutz nearby where we live called Kiryat Anavim. And we entered and all the people from the surrounding area entered the shelter. And I found someone that I didn't see for about 10 years. And we started to talk about recipes of how to make a special cake. And then everybody in the bomb shelter said, no, you should put more flour. No, you should put more sugar. So it was very funny. It was a public discussion about a recipe of a cake.
I'm thoroughly amazed. Again, like folks, like if you've been to Israel, you know what we're talking about. Israelis are just amazing people. And it's That does not surprise me one bit that that's the discussion that you had when you were there, because you love baking and you love food. So that's a big one. One of the other things that stands out to me, folks, like from the perspective of where I'm at, I'm building trips and trying to help people. Like I'm telling them, hey, do we think that things are going to be okay, in September and October, November for trips to go? And I go, yes, like the issues that we're dealing with today will not be the issues that keep us from going then. Like these things are clearing up, they're going to clear up. But what I'm finding is trips are costing more and more money. And the reason for that is because, and this makes no sense to me, and we might need some people out there who are economics people to get a hold of me to help me understand this, is that even in the midst of a war, even in the midst of all these things, Israel's economy is doing so good. We won't say that tourism's doing good, but the rest of the economy is doing so good that the shekel is better than it's ever been, which means we pay with US dollars and we're unable to have as much buying power as we had before. So our trips cost more because the shekel's doing good. Ronan, I don't understand that. I don't understand.
Just about 2 years ago, I used to say to people always that one US dollar is like 4 shekels. So every time that they see 1 shekel is like a quarter. So today it's less than 3 shekels. So the US dollar lost 25% of its value in the time that Israel is in a war. So that's crazy. It doesn't help people that get paid with US dollars, but it's good for Israelis that travel to the US, for example, or people that buy on the internet things from America.
It's a very crazy thing, because I even as I'm building trips for 27 for groups, they're going, whoa, the price has gone up. And I go, yeah, not because the hotels are charging more, not because even sometimes, I mean, sometimes flights are a bit more, but not huge, but because the shekel is actually doing really good against the dollar. So our dollar goes less. My Canadian friends who are out there, you know what I'm talking about. You guys have been dealing with that for a long time. So we're feeling it a little bit now. Ronan, another thing that's really been great is like I am always looking for the trend. I'm always looking for the signs of things changing. And I'm seeing it when you see airlines starting to get their flights going, things are changing, because airlines don't want to risk anything. Like they're the biggest, like making sure everything's safe. And just the other day, like I got a memo that Turkish Airlines is returning flights to Oman, to Lebanon, to Syria. So the fact that they're flying back into all of these regions right there means that they're feeling good about bringing groups in. So, and that's starting May 1, that the memo I got was they're going to start putting flights into those places. So these are all good signs of what we're looking for, right? So it's makes me
We have
happy.
a kind of an index here. It's there's an airline company that it's a Hungarian one. It's called Wizz Air. It's like they're
So
doing
favorite.
charter flights, very, very cheap flights to Europe. Israelis think that they are the best because it's very easy to go to Europe with their airlines. And this is the index for us. If Wizz Air brings back their flights, you know that everything is getting better. 2 days after the ceasefire started, they just brought back their airlines. Then something happened, they shut it down again. So they're very quick, but when they open, you know that everything is okay.
Things are trending towards what seems a positive. Again, things can change all the time. People always ask, like, do you guys just like send people over because you want to make money? That's not the case at all. We're always keeping an eye on it. But we know the Middle East well enough to know that if you're looking for a reason not to travel, there will always be one there. And so it's a matter of what's safe, what's open, can we actually run a trip the way we want to run a trip? And so we're always looking at those things. Gerald and I, our hope is to be over in Israel in July. The two of us touring around, seeing the sites, like showing people that it's open. We feel like that's going to be good. I'd go sooner than that, except for I've got kids that got to go places and things that are already on the agenda in the Ferreira family. So it's always that balance of you can't miss too many family things. So we're looking to head over to Israel probably in July, but we've got groups planning to go in June still that are on the docket, and we're excited for them to go if things open the way we need them to. They'll be going. So things are trending well. We're keeping an eye on it. And just a reminder to people, Ronan and I can both tell you this, is that last year, the 12-day war, as we call it, started in June, and it went, and everyone's like, oh no. And then I was back with a group in August, and Gerald was back with a group September 1st. Things reopen really quick because when the region stabilizes, the best time to go is then, because it's probably going to be really good for a bit of time. So that's why we love that. It's like, time to go. Let's get over there. We're excited to get groups over. I see it coming back. I'm getting excited about that. Are you excited, Ronan?
Yeah, there are some people that still remember that they were the first group after COVID that came to Israel, and it was great. It was cheaper, it was easier, and the place was not crowded. We had the same thing
And
since
everyone loves you.
Yeah, yeah, and everybody loves you. Yeah, and even the groups that we had in August, September, November, January, February, we had like 5, 6 groups that I guided since August. They had a great time here because it was not crowded, because it was fun, because everybody was very happy to see tourists. So it's a bummer that it started again. But the minute that the war would be over and there's maybe something like a permanent ceasefire or something like that, I think that the minute that it's going to be open again, it will be the best time to come.
Well, let's transition a little bit here. You guys just had what we like call our 4th of July. You guys just had your Independence Day. Why don't you walk us through what goes on an Independence Day, but the different holidays that just happened? Because you had a few of them.
Well, the thing is, first of all, we do not. Some people say, "Oh, you celebrate your Independence Day on May 14th." No, we celebrate holidays based on the Jewish calendar, the Hebrew calendar. So it's always on the 5th of Iyar, one of the months of the Hebrew calendar, and it's transit from day to year, from every year to a different date. So that
Is that
was
because it's
yesterday.
is that because it's a lunar calendar?
It's a lunar calendar. So that's why the Jewish holidays always are a little bit different. So sometimes it's in April, sometimes it's in May, but it's that's the we celebrate that day. But because in Israel, you cannot really be happy for your independence and your freedom. And after 2,000 years in exile, you are back in the land. There's a lot of sacrifice through the years. So just before, one day before the Independence Day, we have a memorial day for all the soldiers and the people that were killed in the wars of Israel, or people that were killed in terror attacks through the years. And unfortunately, the number is a huge number. There are more than 25,000 people that lost their life in order that I can continue to live here. We are probably the only crazy country in the world that moved from the saddest moment of the year to the happiest moment of the year in 1 minute. So the whole day, on let's say on Tuesday, it was a Memorial Day. There was a siren in the street. People stopped doing whatever they did. People visited all the cemeteries, only sad songs on TV, on the radio. People tell stories about what they happened and so on, especially in the last 2.5 years, since October 7th, 23, we have so many stories of people that lost their lives, so many stories that people were killed in the war or were killed in a terror attack in Israel, but also Israelis that were killed, let's say, in Washington, D.C. or in New York. So there's a special Memorial Day. And then at 8 o'clock in the evening, Tuesday, for example, 8 o'clock in the evening, we take the flag to the top of the pole. And then there's a ceremony on Mount of Herzl in Jerusalem. And then we move from siren and Memorial Day to fireworks and bring the flag and music and festivals. And what Israelis and probably Americans do on Independence Day, the next day is a big day with barbecue. So yesterday, almost everyone did a barbecue or in the forest or at home or in the garden.
Was there chicken wings? That's my question.
Somehow you enjoy or are addicted to chicken wings with lemon sauce that we had a few years ago. Yeah, no, I think we moved to higher standards through the years.
Friends, I've been to Israel for this several times, and it's actually quite moving. I think very often there have been moments in the U.S. where I've really felt a connection to our Veterans Day or 4th of July, things like that, with a patriotic connection of just really thinking through what it costs. And those moments for me were during the aftermath of 9/11. I just felt like there was a unity of just in the US, just around those holidays, just really a thankfulness and just thinking. In Israel, I've experienced this every time I've been there, where I've been there for these moments. They'll tell us ahead of time, hey, there's going to be a siren. It's going to go across the entire country. And in that moment, no matter where we're at, we're going to stop for 2 minutes and we're just going to stand in solidarity. They don't tell us to do it, but they just say, we're going to do it. You're welcome to join us if you want to. And it's moving. There's something about silence for 2 minutes in the midst of a busy moment, because it always comes in the middle of of a busy part of the day. And everyone stops. Like I've been in the bus a couple of times where the bus pulled off to the side of the road and then stopped. And all these other cars are doing the same thing. I've been on top of Mount Arbel when it's happened. I've been inside the city of Tiberias. You've been in all these different places where it happens, and everyone stops, everyone stands, and everyone in quiet solitude takes 2 minutes and then restarts their life again, going from somber to joyful. And then leading up to that too, like I've flown El Al over to Israel as you're in the lead up to all of this, and the only movies on the plane were Holocaust movies, and like it kind of feels dark, but that's the week leading into this that all of a sudden then turns into joyousness. But I remember telling Ron, I'm like, flew over, and the only movies on El Al were like movies of World War II and the Holocaust, and he's like, yeah, it's crazy, but it has an effect.
And it's and there's and again, especially in the last few years, because Israel is a tiny country after all, almost everyone knows someone that died in a war. So those 2 minutes even brings you back to memories of the people that you were familiar with, friends, family that lost their lives. So it's very important. I think that's like a sacred moment in the life of every Israeli.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Ronan, what do you want people to know just about your time on Independence Day? You said you barbecued yesterday.
Yeah.
Did you
We
hang out
eat
with family?
a lot of
Eat a lot?
barbecue, family.
Was there
It
falafel?
depends. Sometimes it's with friends from my military service. Sometimes with family. No, in fact, I did a falafel recipe because people ask me to give another. I would say an idea how to make something Israeli. So in the time of COVID, we did learn how to make shakshuka
Hummus.
and then how to make hummus. So now, because it's
Yeah.
Independence Day, I thought maybe we should. People ask me about falafel, so we tried to make like a short video about how to make falafel. It went well. It was great. So you should try that.
If you're watching the video, you can check the show notes out. Same thing if you're listening to the audio version of this. Check the show notes out. We've got a link to Mr. Ben Moshe, the cook, the chef himself, teaching you how to make your very own falafel. So get ready. We can't wait to see how yours turn out, because his turned out pretty good. They look delicious. So that was good. Anything else you guys did? I mean, you hang out, which I love that. A lot of time with family, friends. And I thought that it was interesting that this is in the midst of, like, you guys have been in this like state of, we'll call it a emergency for quite some time, but pretty much everybody partied
Yeah,
yesterday.
well,
Everybody barbecued.
it depends. Some people like to go to the park. Some people like to go to the beach or the sea. Some people just traveling. But I think that if you ask the average Israeli, what do you do on Independence Day, he would say a term called barbecue, but they say mangal here. It's like the griller. So
Or else
and then
this
everybody
sign,
they do this like this. What are you doing? This.
fan in the coals.
So when I teach that on the bus, people I said, "What are we do? What is this in the sign language of Israelis?" And people have no idea. But that's like fan the coals, yeah. But that became a term. That's what we do. It's funny how things are a little bit changed through the years, but the barbecue remains. I remember that it was for us to go outside of the house to do it in the park. And today people are trying the other way around to do it at home and to bring friends or family. So you can sometimes go to in one day, the Independence Day, to two members of the family and two friends that invited you, and you are eating four times more or less the same thing. Or you host, and then you have a rotation of friends and family that come to your house. So it's fun.
Yesterday here in Michigan, the sun came out and we got our barbecue out. And in solidarity, I actually forgot that it was Independence Day for you yesterday, but until I looked at the count. But in solidarity now, I say I barbecued, thinking of my friends in Israel, and we ate it in the sun of Michigan yesterday. A blustery 60 degrees. It was fantastic. So that just
So
happened. What I want to share too, as we finish up right now, is a couple of things. Hopefully, you'll check out the falafel video because I think it's really good. But if you're listening to this right now, going, I go on my trip that's scheduled for June, the answer is hang in there. If it's safe to go, it's going to be amazing. Like if it opens up, if the airline flights are happening, you're going to have the best time ever. So please hang in there. If you are wanting to go September, we still have room, and I'm just going to put up here. You can go to tours.org/schedule. Look for our Israel trip. We are going in September. We have space on this. It's a Jordan-Israel trip. I would highly recommend you come. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to go. We are excited to go. Ronan, you're going to be there, right?
I'll make
He's
chicken
leading it,
wings.
so it's going to be. You heard it. You heard it right there. He's going to make chicken wings. So come with us because it's going to be great. If you've got a trip that you're scheduled for October, November, hang in there. Again, we're going to be back soon. If there's a reason we can't go on those trips and at that point, it will not be because of what's currently happening now. So if you're worried about what's happening now, that will not be the reason that's keeping us from going. So sign up, get ready to go. Again, I always say this with if the Lord's going to open the door, he's going to open the door. Like if the door's open, we can go. If the door's closed, we'll figure things out. We'd love to have you come with us. Again, safety is something that we completely take into consideration all the time. But what's happening on the ground is not what you see on TV. Just know that we're asking sources that actually know rather than the source that's getting clicks by you checking it out. Thoughts, Ronan, that you have just as we tell people about coming on these trips?
Well, we hope that it's after all the tweets and the headlines that we get on TV channels, we'll find a way to finish that story, hopefully with good things for the US and good things for Israel. And then life would come back to normal and then we can travel as we usually do. I'm trying this summer maybe to travel abroad, lead tours in Europe. So you can join me if you want.
You know, part of me says, say it's not so. But in this day and age right now, hey, I'm all for it. You need to be working and if this guy's not guiding, he like shrivels up. Like he falls apart. He's got a guide. That's what he does. If you even go on vacation with him, he's going to guide. It's his wife loves it so much.
Otherwise, I need to paint the house.
Yeah. So where are you? Like, I know that you're certified to guide in a lot of places. Where are you guiding this summer? Because I know that you already on the books had some things planned for the summertime, which we don't have groups anyway. It's quite hot in Israel, so most groups don't come in July. Where are you going to be, and where will you be guiding?
We're doing a river cruise on small boats in Europe, mainly on the Danube, but also on the
cruise, even
Seine
better.
and the Rhine. So the Danube is a great tour. You should join me. You need to bring 25 people with you because every time it's for 25 people. But we start in Munich in Germany, and then we go to Passau, and then to Austria, to Dürstein, to Melk, to Vienna. Then we go to Bratislava, the capital of Slovakia, and then we go to two places in Hungary, and then to Budapest in Hungary. So that's a great tour. I'm doing also one on the Seine from Paris to Normandy. So we start with Paris, of course, amazing city, but we also go towards the places where in the Second World War was the invasion of the D-Day. And there's also the Rhine, is a river cruise that starts in Zurich in Basel, Switzerland, go through Strasbourg, France, through Köln in Germany, and finish in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. So 3 rivers. So then I can guide in this company. Just bring another 24. We need 25 people, and then we can make a group, and I can lead you on that tour.
All right, friends. Officially, this is not a GTI trip.
It's not a
get a
GTI
hold
trip.
of me if there are 24 of you. I will join you, and we will go. We will go, and we will hang out with Ronan, because I've always loved the history of World War II, but also all of these locations on a river cruise. This sounds awesome. And really, what else are we doing in July? Nothing. We need to be with Ronan. So get a hold of me and let's do this. Let's do this. I'm serious. If we got the people, Ronan will show up. We'll show up there with you. That would be fun. You as our guide going down the river.
Friends, this is the time. River cruise in Europe. I'm promoting something that is the first time in my life.
Yeah, there it is. Hey, there's a first for everything. There's a first for everything. So, well, I appreciate the time that you gave us today. I appreciate the falafel recipe with the video that you sent me that we'll be putting online, and just a chance to talk. You know, it's always good to see you and to hear from you and to get a real perspective of what's going on in the places. And for our friends out there, I hope that this has been a helpful thing. I hope that it brings some joy to you know, when you get to hear the stories as I chat with Ronan. And maybe there are some of you out there who are ready, who have the guts, and you're ready to go on a cruise on the Danube with Ronan and me. You know, come on, let's go. We're gonna go join him. So, that would be fun. So, any last words that you have for us? Any Hebrew wisdom?
Well, you know that I mentioned that a few times. We did that also in other podcasts before. But the name of our anthem is Hatikva, hope, and that's what put us together. We pray for better days. We have hope. We trust the Lord, and things will get much better. And hope to see people back again in Israel, Lord willing, this year.
Amen. 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 Yes. I'm going to be there this year. Gerald's going to be there this year. You should be there this year as well with us when we go over. So, friends, thanks for taking the time to listen to the podcast or watch the podcast if you're watching it on our YouTube channel. And we just, we appreciate it. We appreciate the relationship that we get to have. We love the idea of bringing the land and the lessons of the Bible to life. And best way to do it, in my opinion, is to go walk it, to go see it, to taste it, to smell it, to drink it in, as we say. And we hope that you'll join us on a trip soon to one of the many locations that we go to. But we do hope that you'll come back with us to Israel in a soon time where we get a chance to be there. So instead of next year in Jerusalem, this year in Jerusalem.
Amen.
Ronan, thanks again.
Thanks.
All right, friends, until the next podcast, take care. We hope you've enjoyed this podcast. For more information on upcoming GTI study tours, please find us on the web at www.gtitours.org.